Hey, what's going on, compadres? My name is Marc. This is FanCastit, and it is that time of year again where we sit around and talk about that thing that is super irrelevant but will dominate the airwaves for all of Sunday. I am, of course, talking about the 92nd Academy Awards. Here's the deal. Once again, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, so they are called, have been mired in controversy, and everybody's unhappy, and there's going to be a lot happening. So I'm just here to kind of fill in the rest of the people who don't actually really care about the Academy Awards or the Oscars, but they kind of want to sound like they know what they're talking about. One is that it was released that basically only half of the people who are the Academy voters for the Academy Awards watch any of the movies that are nominated, which means that most people just kind of pick the movies that they've seen recently. And that's shit. The Academy Awards has had 9 pictures this year that is in contention for the highest honor, which is Best Picture, all right? A lot of people are going to talk about the Best Director categories. A lot of people talk about the Best Actor categories. But honestly, I don't give a shit about that. Because Best Picture is kind of what puts the stamp on the thesis of the year. You know what I mean? The Best Picture is supposed to be exactly where our world is for that year.
Oh, and the Oscar goes to Green Book.
It never is, which is always comedic, and I love that. But they really, honest to God, think that that's what it is. So here we go. Last year, we were here in this exact same spot where I sat there and told you that none of the movies last year should have won for Best Picture, except for possibly Black Panther, and they gave it to Green Book. Yeah. This year, we have 9 brand new movies, all of which are movies. They definitely exist. And we're going to break them down to see which ones should win for the 92nd Academy Awards of 2020. Let's get into it. The first movie that we got is Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit is a coming-of-age tale about a plucky young boy that's a part of Hitler's youth organization in Nazi-occupied Germany during World War II. And it's directed by Taika Waititi. It is very funny. It has great performances by Sam Rockwell, and even made Rebel Wilson funny to me, which is actually very difficult to do. And Scarlett Johansson shows up too. But the biggest person who steals the show is actually Taika Waititi himself, who plays Adolf Hitler in the main character's imagination. And it is goddamn hilarious. I am very surprised that this movie even got nominated for an Oscar. But you know what? Hey, kudos to them for doing the totally out there decision of having a World War II dramedy as an Academy Award Best Picture nominee. Yep, really stretch yourselves out there. Here's the deal. This movie's not going to win. This movie's not going to win because it is this year's version of last year's The Favorite meets Green Book, which means that it's both way too weird for the Academies to actually take seriously, and it's also way too safe of a bet for them to actually pick it, especially after last year's fiasco of choosing what is quite possibly the worst allegory about segregation I have ever seen in my entire life.
Despite our differences and finding out the truth about who we are, we're the same people.
You're not going to win Best Picture, so we could just go right ahead and move on to the next choice, which is 1917. It is a harrowing tale of two young... Is harrowing a word? Well, whatever. It is a harrowing tale about 2 young boys who are right at the edge of World War I. They need to get word to the other boys across the way so that they'll make sure that they can save their whole platoon from certain death. It is a mastery of cinematography. Roger Deakins was a cinematographer on this movie, and he is a personal favorite of mine. It is stylized so that the entire film looks like it was done in one shot, one very long continuous shot, and it's not going to win. It's not going to win because several reasons. One, we've already seen them do this. They did it in Birdman. And not only that, but they did it in Birdman with what the Academy considers to be a much more important message, which is actors are the most important people on the planet, and Hollywood is the only thing that will save everybody.
You risk nothing on a f***ing actor.
And I don't think it was as important a movie this year. Was it good? Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. Did it have great acting in it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? But, god damn, right? Directing, cinematography, everything's out there. But it just doesn't have enough of that meaty acting.
The dramatic. Is he all right? Pause!
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Just like how the Academy Awards did not see Little Women this year. You know how I know they didn't see it this year? Because they just voted for Laura Dern and Saoirse Ronan for acting awards in Little Women, while simultaneously not nominating Greta Gerwig for Best Director. That's incredible. The Academies are fun. Okay, so Little Women was directed by Greta Gerwig. It stars Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson, Laura Dern, Meryl Streep. It is basically the who's who of white females. Like, it is just astounding how good this movie actually is for, like, several reasons. But also, Greta Gerwig is proven before that she is a phenomenal director. She directed Lady Bird a couple years back, and it kind of just had the Academies all over her until they had realized that they actually are going to have her in contention with male directors. And then they were like, hey, whoa, slow your roll, buddy. We like your movies, but, you know, maybe you hold out on this whole directing thing until a couple of years from now, and then we'll give you like a Lifetime Achievement Award like we did to Spike Lee. So, is Little Women gonna win for Best Picture? Was it a good movie? Yes. Is it the type of movie that the Academies love? Absolutely. I mean, come on. The main character is a woman that literally changes everything because she's a writer and she's different and she's, you know, not like those other girls and whatever. To the story's credit, they actually did do a very good job in this movie fleshing out all of the sisters' characters this time instead of just making Jo like the super awesome chick. But that said, if you haven't noticed, this is a lot about women issues and women problems. And here's the thing with the Academy and women. This is a extensive list of all of the women directors who have had a Best Picture win at the Oscars. And we're done. Maybe next time, right? Right? Yeah, all right, that's what Okay, here we go. The movie that everybody has been waiting for since the beginning of Academy voting season. I'm talking about the one that has had the most anticipation. Everybody is waiting on this movie. Ford vs. Ferrari. Never saw it. I'm sorry. I really wanted to watch it. It seemed really cool. Love Christian Bale. Love Matt Damon. James Mangold. He's such a good director. I loved his work on Walk the Line and Logan. But, man, this movie came out and, like, Knives Out was already out. And I had a choice between seeing both those movies. I think they came out around the same time. I don't remember. The point is, I'm sorry. I just don't care about cars. I don't. I am absolutely certain that when I get around to this movie, boy, it's gonna be. Yeah. No, it's not gonna win. I mean, look, the Academy has already kind of forgotten that this movie exists. And sure, Christian Bale nabbed up an acting nomination, and I think Matt Damon might have as well. But yeah, that's because Christian Bale's already been nominated, and so is Matt Damon, I think, probably. And the fact that I literally know no details about this movie and the Academy Awards speaks volumes enough. Not anybody that I know is talking about this movie. I don't think it has a shot in hell. But Vroom vroom, I tell you. When I see this one, yeah, man stuff. Yeah. Okay, the next movie that we have on our list. This movie, and I'm being serious this time. You stay with me. This movie is everything that the Academy Awards loves. It is a film directed by Noah Baumbach about his own life as a director married to an actor who is struggling with his marriage and his custody of his child, and it stars Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver and Laura Dern again and Ray Liotta. Cool. Okay, good to see him. And it's just there's so much acting in this movie. They act the out of this movie. Roll film.
Together.
So, it's not going to win. It's not going to win. Look, other than the fact that they spend half of the time calling the character that is clearly a thinly veiled write-in for the director of the movie a genius, other than the fact that Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver do act the shit out of this movie, it's just a boring story. It is a very, very self-absorbed story, and honestly, the more details I learned about this movie, the less interested I am in this movie. And that's saying a lot, because honestly, Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach are kind of a thing, and I just think Greta went with the more interesting story. I don't care about Noah Baumbach's divorces. You know, even if it's really well acted divorces, I still, you couldn't pay me to care about that. There are 4 movies left, and if you have stuck with me through this entire video, congratulations, you're amazing. I freaking love you, and I want to take this time to reward you by telling you to subscribe to my channel, and also hit a like on the video if you like the video, man. I love making these videos, and I love making people laugh and smile and think about things that, you know, nobody actually cares about, and I feel like I should be rewarded with a like and a subscribe from you for that. And if you haven't done so already, follow us on Instagram. That's where we keep the conversation going, and I will be live streaming our reactions of the Oscars in real time. That is myself and Sean, my long-suffering co-host of the show, and this should be fun. The next movie, I am calling it a movie, it's not a film, I'm sorry. The next movie is Joker. And how do I put this politely? This movie. No, seriously, this movie. This movie getting a nomination. This movie getting 11 nominations. The director's shitty Twitter post. Everything about it, except for you, Joaquin Phoenix. You're a goddamn gem. Next movies that we have are what I consider to be the big 3. These are the movies that have the highest chance of actually winning for Best Picture, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as a lot of people have been polling on the internets around. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This movie is good. Yeah, it exists. It definitely did happen. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, but this movie is just so middling that it just makes it really difficult to take it seriously as an Academy Award winning movie. I don't think this is gonna be the one. Yes, it is about acting and Hollywood and movies, and about how movies literally saved the world and how actors literally got together to stop the Charles Manson murders. But when's the last time Quentin Tarantino got Best Picture for anything? You know? Like, he might have gotten some, you know, prestige on him now, but at his absolute core, he's still a B-movie director, and that's kind of where he lives in. And that's not even disrespect to Quentin Tarantino. That's his bread and butter. He loves that. You know what I mean? Hyper-violence, swear words, babes, and I am saying babes like I feel like he would say it. Foot fetish shots. Is Quentin Tarantino gonna win for Best Picture for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? No, not for this movie. A honest to God argument could have been made for The Hateful Eight and probably even Django, but Not this one. Nah, not today. We'll try again next time, Quinn. But enough jokes. The next film that we have is Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. It is a 3.5-hour epic about not just the Italian mob, but also about the power of 3 goddamn Italian stereotypes of actors getting together and just doing the most Martin Scorsese shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not even like making a joke here. Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino get together for one final romp in a gangster movie where they actually, you know, do some pretty solid thematic work in this movie. I'm going to say that again. It is a good story about Jimmy Hoffa and the Teamsters and unions and gangsters and getting old and regret and seriously. No. I'm being serious, and maybe with me getting older, I'm trying to get less pretentious, but how many of you guys actually stayed awake during that entire movie? Because I had to watch it in legit 7 pieces. I don't know. Maybe this one does take Best Picture. It's not taking Best Picture. I'm sorry. For one, the de-aging gimmick was cool, but it just also made them look very weird and rubbery at the beginning of the movie. And I mean, there's a whole ethical thing about that we're probably going to end up having very long conversations about for a very long time. This is just another one of those movies that I feel like are going to be forgotten by the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about it now because it's in the conversation with award season, and Marty Scorsese has kept himself in the news by trashing superhero movies, which, you know, shout out to him for doing that. But, like, I don't think this is the one, man. Wouldn't it be something if he lost Best Picture this year and Joker won, even though Joker is just a complete rip-off of Marty Scorsese's earlier work?
Yeah.
Which leaves us to one final film for 2019, the 92nd Academy Awards. Whoo boy, I'm talking about Parasite. Parasite was directed by Bong Joon-ho. It's a Korean film that is a foreign language film. You will have to watch it with subtitles. And it is a great story about a working class family slowly trying to finesse their way into the upper class. And it is not going to win for Best Picture this year. It's not. I'm sorry. The Academy Awards really does not like foreign language films. Now, this movie has been kind of in the conversation in film circles pretty much the entire year since it came out. It is sweeping the awards, unless you're at the BAFTAs, because Jesus Christ. But it's been killing it, and I really thought that this one would have a chance of taking for Best Picture. But the Academy Awards, they really like keeping certain films in their place, and I think that if they do anything this year, they'll probably give it at least one of the nominations, but I don't think it's going to win for Best Picture. I think that Hollywood feels like it's a little too important to give it to a Korean film with subtitles. And you know what? I would absolutely love it if the Academy proved me wrong and prove that they're not a bunch of narrow-minded racist idiots and that they actually gave this movie Best Picture. You know, maybe it is that the ending of 2019 and the beginning of a new decade is really about all of us coming together as a global community and celebrating the fact that all of our stories are actually a lot more similar than they are different. Maybe this is the year that the Academy actually gets it right. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my picks for who is going to win at the Academy Awards for Best Picture. I'm Marc Samuels. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you're notified about new videos. If you haven't heard already, then we are going to be live streaming the Oscars the entire night, so you're going to be hanging out with me and my alcohol addiction. All right? So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next year when they f*** it up again. Peace.